Good evening. Welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhyan. Here at the Expat Insights, we take external views of internal successes by foreigners, immigrants, and expats who have made Philippines their home. Tonight, we have a guest from the country of Malaysia. He is the president and the general manager of Hitachi GST. Hitachi employs nearly 7,000 people in this country and has been around for the last 15 or 20 years in the Philippines. Our guest today, his name is Chandra Ananthiram, and we are going to talk about manufacturing excellence in the Philippines. Chandra, welcome to Expat Insights.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome to Expat Insights. So tell us a bit about yourself very quickly.
Right, I'm Chandra Ananthiram. Then I'm from Malaysia. Basically, I'm a Malaysian nationality. Then I worked in a few countries as expat. And now I'm in Philippines almost 7 years, right? And under Hitachi GST Philippines, I'm almost 4 years here now, right? So I'm leading Hitachi GST Philippines as a president and general manager.
Yeah.
Just a little correction, we have 9,800 employees as of today.
Not 7,000, 9,000. So you are adding people.
Yeah, we are adding people, and interviews ongoing to adding continuously. That's good for the country.
Yeah. Can I apply on Monday morning? I need a job.
Yeah, sure. My HR person can handle that. Right.
Chandra, before we talk about manufacturing and Hitachi, this is a question I must ask of you.
Right.
In the Philippines, besides the people of Philippines, besides the human resource, what do you like most about the Philippines? What's fun for you in the Philippines?
Golf courses.
Oh, the golf courses. Okay, you're an avid golfer.
Right. As well as the environment, the nature is there.
You like the landscape and the culture.
Right.
Now, a bit about Hitachi, besides its 9,800 employees plus one.
Right.
Tell us, what do you do? What does Hitachi produce, GST?
Okay, Hitachi GST is produce hard drives. That is the business, right? And in Philippines, we produce, we call it head or slider. Right. Which is a component to use to read and write inside the drive, hard drive.
Right.
So that is a component that we are producing in Hitachi GST Philippines. That's the operation that I'm managing here.
Wow, 9,800. And how much of your production facilities are automated and how much is still to be automated? What's the percentage ratio?
This is we are in the semiconductor based industry, right?
Yeah.
So it is, other than we call it automated and non-automated, we call it manual. And it's by tool, right? Manual is basically in inspection, assembly and all that. So in Hitachi GST Philippines, basically the assembly is less than 30% also, but the others are more on the real technical photolithography technology and the really precisely nanotechnology lappings.
Right. So really tiny, really minor, and, with lots of electronic equipment.
We use a lot of angstrom and nanometer in discussions.
Okay, I'll just ask you questions as we go along, talking about manufacturing excellence. But what I'd like to know is, over the years, this is one of the biggest questions. Philippines has not been up and about as far as manufacturing is concerned. We kind of lost out to China and to Thailand and even to other countries, no?
Right.
But yet your company in the last 5 or 6 years has won several awards for manufacturing excellence. So give us a big picture view on manufacturing in the Philippines and your success in it.
Right. Talking about awards, maybe just put it more details on that.
Yeah.
So I think we won under the PEZA, Philippine Economic Zone Authority. We won the best employees for the last 2 years also.
Best Employer of the Year.
Best Employer of the Year.
Right.
And we also won Best Community Service.
Right.
For the last few years. As also the Best Environmental Practice. And in Asia CEO, HGST Philippines also awarded as a top employer last year by Asia CEO. With that all it not happens overnight, right?
Yeah.
So what we are doing now is we put the manufacturing here and give the full training to the resources and full responsibility to the employees and organization to bring that to the level of success. And from the corporate to the last level of employee with the dedication, it just runs with the full passion as well as the transparency what we are really doing, right? So that is like, I would call the, not magic, the real way to run the operation here.
I think it was called open leadership.
Yeah, open leadership, yeah,
am I right?
correct.
So that's your strategy, that's your soft strategy for success. No? But big picture, Philippines is a country, you think that all of them, all the other industries will be able to do what you're doing?
Yes, I believe very strongly on that, because not only Hitachi GS, there are other MNC companies from Europe, United States or Japan are here. Korea, there's a lot of companies here. People are looking at the Philippines now because it's becoming more attractive, I would say, right? Because all the policies that aligned for so far, right? It all looks very attractive, and especially in terms of a labor. Right, it's becoming very attractive in Philippines.
Right.
In the direct labor as well as indirect labor.
Right.
Right. For indirect labor, the skill of communication becoming very handy, which all the expats will tell. Right. And they are very, I call it, it's very easy to mold them. Right. They are very teachable and very trainable. They are very easy trainable to do better skills and always enhance their skills.
Right. So wait, you're saying the opportunity for manufacturing growth and excellence is because number one of the people, because they are trainable, adaptive, very adaptive, very flexible. One, two, of course, the language has been a pro. But you are also saying that certain policies. Can you cite a few policies that are beneficial to manufacturing?
Right. For example, for Hitachi GST, we are operating under PEZA Zone Authority, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. We have 24/7 coverage on all the logistics, all the helps, the customs. We have 24/7, and it's I would say that no red tape. It's very open with PEZA that we are running now, and that really gives us the upper hand, to manage the business day in, day out with the government authorities. It's a very supportive, and we are having a very good relationship with the government authorities, PEZA, and we also have a SAPI, the Organization of Semiconductors Philippine Association. So with all this good foundation is laid for the last few years, I would say for the last long period of time, now it's becoming very convenient for us to execute our business here.
So 24/7, good support, good industry support through SEPI. A couple of years ago, not maybe about 5 years ago, I had industrialists from India come, and we actually visited Laguna Technopark. We brought them along to show how people in the PEZA work. Yet, I'm thinking countries like Cambodia, countries like Chile, countries like Thailand, Bangladesh, even India are putting up their own export processing zones. No? How does the PEZA of Philippines, or the export processing zone of the Philippines, stand out? What are the essential differences or the benefits of being here, besides people and 24/7?
For the other
financial, I mean.
So for the other countries that you mentioned, I'm not very sure about the others.
I'm sure that they are
my experience with PEZA is kind of very one-stop shop, I'd call it, It's a one-stop shop. We go there, then we talk to them, and we work with them, and the support is so great, that I don't need a hassle to go too many places. So that is the biggest support that I'm getting from PEZA.
24/7 customs, that's a big thing. I did not know about
and one stop.
One stop too. For customs too. For customs.
We got it through PEZA, So we call it one-stop shop at PEZA.
All right. Now, in your company, I do understand that though you're adding people, yet your ratio of growth and productivity has gone up. Not in tandem, but in random with the number of people you're adding.
Yes, correct.
What has been your secret?
It's a productivity improvement, which is a general term that we use, a productivity improvement. But how we do the productivity improvement, that's why I call it manufacturing excellence, So the way that we manage, myself and my executives in Philippines, we put it in a policy, what is a manufacturing excellence should looks like, So then with that policy, we put quality, So with the quality of the policies, and it cascaded from top management until the last level of operators, very open leadership. With that, it becoming very easy to communicate and execute the directions.
Yeah.
When the last level of a people understand exactly what we want to do,
yeah.
and it becoming a system, what we call that, becoming a
culture,
habit, right? Then we have a process excellence, and we give a priority for process excellence, not only in operation, but entire organization, HR, finance, procurement, IT, all follow the same language, I would call it. Everybody speaks the same language. So the improvement comes from all the level, from down level, from all organization. It comes to the platform where the success comes.
This is the most ideal situation for any manufacturing company or a global company. This is the dream thing, no?
Right.
And I know for a fact that many industries are not able to achieve that, even though we all wish for it.
Right.
That's a trend. That's a global trend. What are your specific strategies besides opening up? Is there something that you do to the structure of your organization?
Yep.
Besides putting down quality? What exactly?
Right.
Can you cite an example?
Okay, the example is usually process excellence, right? It's always treated as a I don't want to call it always, it's a custom that people put it under quality organization, typically, or any other organization to run. But in Hitachi GST Philippines, to create the productivity, we try to do the process excellence direct reports to me. So when the process excellence group direct reports to me, it shows that the importance were given throughout the entire organization. And everybody need to go through that process excellence. Right. So it gives, it's not only open, but it gives the priority, to work on that. So with the process excellence, we create the culture of productivity improvement, right? And we also have a small group activities for direct employees, which roll out under the process excellence also. So how we form this process excellence and how we utilize that throughout the organization, I think that is the secret. I know it's an ideal situation. Everybody can do, right? But
it's a dream situation.
It's a dream situation. It's a dream situation. But it's a very, in my experience, it's very doable. But we put it, and the process excellence as how it integrates the excellence throughout the organization.
So it's a flat organization.
Right.
And VPs or departmental heads report to you, cutting down a lot of bureaucracy.
Right, correct.
Does that put a lot of burden on you as the leader of the band? It's a question.
Initially, yes. Initially, yes.
To start up.
To start up, it's really yes. That gives a lot of individualistic, it's like a heroism, right? We need
like
to
dictator.
Dictator, right.
Dictator with just pawns and no castles and no elephants.
But we made a vision that that's not going to be the long term. It's a very short term.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Then for the past 3 years, and it really goes very nicely, right? Because we already understand that's what we want to do. Now the individual departments or individual functions do the task, which is we laid down from the corporate policy to site policies. Then we do a DMP, department management policies. And very systematic under, I would call, quality management system under QMS. So with that, we lay up, then all are marching in the same direction, and we're going towards the heroism to a really
teamwork,
collaboration, I would call it.
Chandra, let's take about 30 seconds break here. We have a little video on how hard disk or heads of hard disks are manufactured, so that my viewers have an idea of what we are talking about, because not all my viewers are from manufacturing industry. So we get a picture of what we are talking about. So we'll just queue up a video, and here it comes. All right, that's just a picture of what the company. That's not your company.
Right, not my company.
Okay, now let me take you to a state where Hitachi is also part of the larger community. You have a lot of CSR activities, no? How do you weave them in, given the fact that your productivity is on the high, your manufacturing side, and yet you're able to be involved in communities? What's your strategies and what have you done?
the tagline of the CSR, right? The tagline of a CSR, which I'm advocating very.
What is tagline?
Tagline of CSR starts at home.
Okay, okay.
That's
okay,
my
okay.
tagline of a
tagline
of a CSR starts at home,
yeah.
right? So what we do is we look at our employees first, right, and their community, the immediate thing, what they needed and what they support. For example, just give an example. In 2010, there is a lot of employees spending quite some of money for their medical, okay, for their dependent.
Or they had loans.
Right, loans as well as they spend some money, right, for their dependent medical.
Yeah.
Then we check it out because usually dependent medical is covered in the policies for a certain extent. Then we get to know that some people couldn't avail the benefit because they're not legally married, or they're not married but they have kids. they have kids but they're not married. Then we check it out details why they're not married and comes whatever reason is that. Then we thought that, okay, why don't we arrange this, call it mass wedding.
Mass weddings.
Mass wedding for the whoever that eligible and can get married. And so that they can avail the benefits that available. And it happens. Right? There is 104, if I'm not mistaken, to be exact number is 104 employees.
Within the company, Hitachi to Hitachi.
Yeah. No, Hitachi GST, Philippines, right? Either husband or wife, either one should be our employees, right? So it's 104 people marriage, but actually there are like 400 people applied, but due to the time and all that, so 104 executed. That's 2010.
Right.
2011, we know that we are going to grow end of 2011. I need to hire engineers, right, for sure. Then we think that, we are going to hire for engineers, but why don't we give some career paths for the technicians?
What does that mean? Clear path?
Career path for
the
technicians. And then it comes a lot of procedure. They don't have a degree, engineering degree.
Right.
Some are not have a master's or degree, or some don't have a bachelor degree.
Yeah.
Then we work with the local CHAT, Commission of Higher Education. Right? We work with them, CHAT. And good to know that they have a scheme called ETIAP, Extended Tertiary Education Program.
Extended?
Tertiary Education Program.
Tertiary,
education program, where an employee can enroll inside, right, and get a degree equivalency in that programs. Then we partnership with 2 universities, right? And we work with the universities, and we give some time to the technicians to have a Saturday, Sunday to study, right? And 11, we have a graduation for 94
graduates
technician
of
engineering, and some of the arts graduate, because we also need some arts side.
Yes,
90, almost 94 technicians, and the staffs graduated as engineers.
Right. So this is actually employee welfare.
Yes, I call it as a CSR, goes under CSR, right?
Yes,
so there are a lot of ways to see employees and try to work it out. It needs a little bit of uniqueness and the team, but I'm very proud of HSC GST Philippines team, the executives there. They really put all the minds together, and it comes with something that really benefits the employees. I call it, that's why the tagline is, starts at home.
Yeah, charity starts at home, or CSR
starts at home.
A while ago, you also mentioned, besides government support, besides PEZA being so excellent in its performance, you also mentioned direct and indirect employees. And when you say indirect, are you meaning consultants?
No, actually, I separate rank file. The direct is operators, which is rank and file, right? And all the engineers above is the indirect. Right? It's still employee of HCST. We call it indirect because we want to separate within the operators group, the direct. People who touch.
So these are not hands-on people. These are not blue-collared, but semi-blue, white-collared people. That's the way to do it. All right. Now, what are your tips to industries other than semicon, the semiconductor industry, in the Philippines, who are maybe in PEZA, maybe not in PEZA, to improve their performance in terms of productivity, in terms of meeting day-to-day market challenges, and innovating. What are your, because you're such a wonderful company, what are your recommendations?
My recommendation, number one, is I know it's maybe a textbook material, but the open leadership. In Philippines, I'm talking for Philippines, knowing Filipinos' culture, Philippines culture, which is beautiful culture. Open leadership for me is the best to take care of the way the manage in Philippines, right? When we open management, it's becoming transparent, and because of Philippine culture is more on family oriented and more relationship, that is becoming a fundamental, right?
Driving
techniques, and that literally gives the trust. Trust is a two-way, right? The employee trust and management trust, right? That's run as a basic fundamental. Then put the systems. Don't make it as a people-oriented. Change it as a process-oriented, from superhero to a process-oriented, which is a team, right?
Let me try to rephrase this. You're saying acquire a lot of trust, have a lot of bonding or engagement in place, and then put in the discipline.
Process.
But process would be step 1, 2, step 3, step 4, and follow that through. That would be a technique for all kinds of industries in the Philippines.
I would say all, because process is a process, right? So everybody need to follow a certain process, but it's not that the process not changeable. Adaptive, right, and go through. With that, it becoming very systematic. I'm a person that more on the systematic approach. I don't like he say, her say. It works for me, so I believe, and it works for my executives in HCST Philippines. All are very, very motivated and engaged, and they are the people that really makes the company successful.
Now, 2 more questions, and then we'll go on to philosophical questions about living in the Philippines. Let me ask you 2 things. Number 1, cost of production, cost of utilities, cost of doing business in the Philippines, compared to you being to Indonesia and some other countries. How are we doing, and what can be improved upon in those areas of, taxes, utilities?
Right. Actually, I'd like to touch 2 areas, which is a very common area. On the labor part, Philippines have high advantage compared to other neighboring, so which is a known fact. So then one fact that I like to add on that the skill, there are very good universities in Philippines. Right. They deliver very good talent, right? So make use of the talent, right? The thing that really we like looking for improvement is in the utilities, basically on the electricity, the power, the cost. It is little bit higher compared to neighboring developing countries. So I'm very sure that I get to know a lot of evidence that there's a lot of progress ongoing on that, right, to improve that power cost. I assume that we're going to handle very soon, right, through the years. With that 2 collaboration, it should be works very well.
So you're saying maximize talent that's coming out of schools, and then cut down just utilities, that's water and electricity.
Electricity mainly. The power, I call it the power cost is relatively higher, and I think it's...
my experience, or at least my knowledge tells me that it's not the production of power, it's the delivery of power in the Philippines. It's more expensive, no? How are we compared to other Asian countries where you've done work?
Relatively higher. I couldn't compare the real percentage, but relatively higher.
Right, okay. And now, let me bring you down to the home level.
Okay.
I want to ask you, what are your hopes and dreams for the Philippines? You've been here for 7 or 8 years now.
7 years plus,
So what do you plan to do with your future and the future of HGST?
I plan to serve HGST as long as I possibly can. And actually, as I mentioned, really a lot of things still need to be done. Right,
in the company,
in the company, right, to develop the talent and put the processes which I mentioned. So focus on that, And my personal, I really like to work for Hitachi GST, and I like to be in the Philippines because I like the people, the trust that we develop. Then that's generally it goes.
What is your dream for the Philippines as a country? What do you want the country to look like? 5 years from now?
From 5 years from now, my dream is this country's grow in economy, which is forecasted by all the bodies, and do little bit improvement on in the putting the systems, right, where it will create the disciplines and more towards by process, it's not by his say, her say. Right? We need to change that little bit. So we need little bit initiative. So we like
your perception of the current administration.
Right.
Are you happy with what the changes
yeah,
that
I'm very happy.
How about people of your caliber, CEOs and leaders and expats?
Right.
What do you?
I think they all are very capable and very. I think Philippines now is in the time of booming. I call it. Is coming to the right. The booms coming in. Make use of the booms. Right. The important is the talents need to be get ready for that. In terms of a system, time management, discipline, we need to get the people ready for that. But the time is coming very soon, and it's really booming to Philippines. And its evidence is shown in the growth of the economy.
Yep. And the level of confidence in the country. Chandra, we are about to use up all the time that we've been given. We have 2 minutes left. No? If there's anything that I didn't ask you about Hitachi and manufacturing excellence, you want to tell me?
Actually, we covered most of the thing, right? Yeah. So I want to take this opportunity actually to thank all the Hitachi GST employees.
Right. One of them is right here.
Right. So who is really the backbone of the company?
Yeah. You can do that on camera. You can talk to that camera.
I really want to thank all the Hitachi GST Philippine employees who put all the dedication, all the support for the company. And without them, I'm not going to sit here and talk to
without all 9,800
employees. And thank for all of them. And we'll continue work with the same passion to achieve more success for HGST Philippines and generally Philippines because they're all Philippine
because of the community. Now, last question. You're a successful CEO. You are a well applauded president and GMM. The community loves you. And what I want to ask you, what is your personal philosophy about life? What is life all about to you, and what drives you?
Right. What drives me is the what do you call that? The teamwork. That's my philosophy because my dad is my role model. My dad, Mr. Ananthiram Kolanda, and my brothers, Siva Pragasam, Balasubramanian, my sister Agila, and my mother Jayalakshmi. All of us are trained up to be a team. Always as a team, as a family. So that becoming very handy for me in my leadership. Right. I use that as my fundamental. It's a team. It's not individual. Right. Always get into the team, and that becoming my biggest asset.
So let me try to rephrase that. You're saying that the tightness of your family, the teamwork of your family, that's your talisman. That's your magic formula. And you have expanded that to your 9,800 employees, and you want that to grow. That's your power. So anytime you're challenged, every time the future looks not bright, you come together as a team. And
And the teamwork is beautiful in Philippines.
Chandra Ananthiram, Chandra, it's been a pleasure having you on Expat Insights. And may people like you grow and flourish and help this country become a better place to live. So gracias and salamat po.
Salamat po. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, that was Chandra Ananthiram of Hitachi GST. And we were talking about manufacturing excellence, and I'm your host, Raju Mandhyan. We have another guest coming up after this break, and he's from the country of Israel, and we'll talk to him as soon as we come back. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Chandra.
Thank you very much.